When I was in the university as a student, he was heading the Islamic studies. He was on tours at that point of time, and he's still working for the humanity. He gives knowledge to everyone. He has been the HOD in Islamic Studies, Kashmir University. He has been the HOD of Spiritual Studies, Islamic University. He has been the head in the Central University. Sir, I can say this line for you. न थके हैं पाँव कभी, न ही हिम्मत हारी है. न थके हैं पाँव कभी, ना ही हिम्मत हारी है. मैंने देखे हैं कई दौर और आज भी सफर जारी है. Give him a big round of applause. Professor Naseem Rafiabadi. Sir, please.
He's a well-known, internationally acclaimed teacher, scientist, and clinician. He has contributed extensively to science, and he is an expert of international repute. I request Professor Dr. Shaukat Zargar, former Director SKIMS and reputed gastroenterologist, to please come up on the stage. Thank you so much, sir. As a director, he has expanded and recognized SKIMS to a great extent.
Now I'll request the known figure of the valley. He needs no introduction. He has been the founder of so many schools all over the India. For him, I'll just quote this line. कोई नहीं लगा सकता है उनके कद का अंदाजा. कोई नहीं लगा सकता है उनके कद का अंदाजा. ये आसमां है फिर भी सर को झुकाए हुए. Please give him a big round of applause, Mr. Vijay Dar, founder and chairman, DPS Srinagar. Please, sir.
Now I would request Professor Dr. Altaf Shera, who's a reputed pediatric surgeon and presently heading the Department of Surgery, Medical College, Baramulla. Please put your hands together for Dr. Altaf Shera.
Thank you so much. Guest of honors are here in front of you now. We will proceed with the programs. As we have already mentioned, there will be certain sessions. The first session will be start up with the introduction of an author. Though he needs no introduction, he is the household name now because this is not the first book he has written. There are so many books in his name. Now, as a procedure, we will follow the same thing here that my co-host will speak up about the author. Please.
Thank you so much. So let me start the introduction of the author by a famous quote. तुम जब आओगे तो खोया ही पाओगे मुझे, तुम जब आओगे तो खोया ही पाओगे मुझे, मेरी तन्हाइयों में ख्वाबों के सिवा कुछ भी नहीं, मेरे कमरे को सजाने की तमन्ना है तुम्हारी, मेरे कमरे में किताबों के सिवा कुछ भी नहीं. So, Dr. Qazi Ashraf is a noted oncology surgeon of international standing, well-reputed intellectual and a great scholar. He has published 5 books and numerous research papers in the prestigious international journals. His book on breast cancer, titled Molecular Aspects of Breast Cancer, was published in Germany and is listed in the database of the National Library of Germany. Molecular Aspects of Breast Cancer was at number 13 in the bestseller list of academic books written by the single author in year 2012. The book led to a debate on the incorporation of the BRCA gene protein expression by immunohistochemistry in the management of protocol of breast cancer. His second book, titled Scientific Aspects of Surgical Oncology, was also received very well. His third and fourth book, Open Secret 1 and Open Secret 2, are international bestsellers and widely read and acclaimed. He also contributed to the book Indo-Pak Peace Process, which was released in year 2021. His scientific research has been published in prestigious international journals of cancer like Annals of Thoracic Surgery, World Journal of Oncology, British International Journal of Surgery, Journal of Clinical Oncology, World Journal of Surgical Oncology, Asia Pacific Journal of Cancer Prevention, Open Access Journal of Clinical Oncology, JIMA, American Association of Clinical Oncology, just naming a few. He is not known only for his professionalism and impeccable surgical skills, but also for his writing and art of presenting complex concepts in simple language. As we celebrate the birth of From Big Bang to Baghdad, we also celebrate the art of writing and the profound impact it will create in our lives. Let's thank Dr. Qazi Ashraf for sharing this wonderful gift with the world. May this book, thank you, may this book find its way into the heart and minds of the readers everywhere. So let's give a huge round of applause to Dr. Qazi Ashraf and the boundless possibilities that unfold within the pages of this book. Behind every great book is not just a dedicated author, but also the supportive network of all of you, the friends, family, and the publishing professionals. Let's take a moment to appreciate the collective effort that has brought From Big Bang to Baghdad to life. From late night writing sessions to the meticulous editing process, this book is testament to the collaborative spirit that fuels the literary world. A huge round of applause for each one of them and all of you for being here. Now, I would request Mr. Asrar to kindly present his views on the book. Tell us something about the book. Mr. Asrar, please.
Thank you so much, Sabha, for giving a beautiful introduction about the author, which will help me to read out what I think about the book. Books are undeniably a blessing to humankind. Books are the best company a human can have. Books provide us information without asking for anything in return. The name of this book speaks for itself, as From Big Bang to Baghdad, which takes the reader on an intellectual journey through unbelievable tapestry of the sacred history. The cover page of this book is so attractive and fascinating, with full of suspense in this sentence: a brief history of the origin and evolution of religion. The book starts with the chapter describing the origin of the universe and sacred history, wherein the author takes us back to the origin of universe and starts with meaningful quote. The quote is, "In the beginning, there was no beginning. In the no beginning, there was nothing. In the nothing, there became something. That something was small, infinity smally small. Take one part out of this heap of no things, and that is our universe." Unquote. The author, being a medical expert, has provided a detailed analysis of physical phenomena that leads to the formation of the universe from the Big Bang to the evolution and appearance of humans. The book is divided into 4 parts and then arranged into various chapters with headings and subheadings for the ease of a reader. The author is a reader friendly and has put himself in the shoes of the readers. Yet, at the same time, I must confess, he has remained unbiased and has tried to put forth the text after deep research. The subject of this book is so complex that most of the writers do not want to get into this. They feel better of conforming of standard version of prevalent narratives. Here we must applaud the author, who, despite being a busy surgeon, has left no stone unturned to bring the chronicle of the brutal conflicts that have plagued the major religions of the world. The author has not imposed any self-censorship in order to suit his writings to a particular sects or sections. Furthermore, the dedication of the author seems to be selfless, as is evident from the hard work and research done on this purely for the readers rather than to please the power corridors. Well, highly appreciable, the marathon research of 12 years yielded fruitful and colorful results. Big Bang to Baghdad is a unique in the sense that it uplifts the mood of a reader and attracts them to read further. It is difficult sometimes to lay down the book. The companionship of this book is one of the most delightful things, and the reader gets hooked or rather addicted to its contents. Small sentences with linguistic constructions that make it conversational as such in itself is a commendable attempt. Dr. Qazi Ashraf intertwines science, history, rather sacred history, philosophy, polity, and religion with his experience of deep research that helps to approach all categories of the readers. The very fine and ideal titles of the chapters has given additional weightage to the book, making it distinct and appealing. Perusal of this book proffers the clear intention of the author, as the author himself quotes, quote is, we are still nowhere close to becoming civilized enough to respect, accept, or even tolerate differing viewpoints, religious or otherwise. At last, I'll quote a few liners from the book. Violence is the law of biology. Violence is the law of biology. All animals commit violence, but they kill to eat. Humans do both. They kill to eat and eat to kill quite often. Second thought and second quote is, ideas are powerful. They penetrate the impenetrable, slash the invisible, and can turn out to be harder than the hardest rocks. In the case of human world, the mental and mathematical worlds decide how the physical world will look for humans. Thank you so much for being so patient and hearing this about the book. I hope that you have enjoyed. This is my note about the book, though we will see the reviews afterwards also, who will speak up about the book again. I'll request my co-host Sabat to... Yes, definitely. Definitely you can start up with it.
So we'll call the guest of honors to speak something about, they can speak generally. So I'm pleased to call upon stage the guest of honor, Professor Dr. Siddiq Wahed, educated at Howard University. He was a professor at Howard before returning. He's the founder, Vice Chancellor of Islamic University, Kashmir. He's a well-known, internationally acclaimed scholar, historian, Writer and an authority on Southeast Asia, he routinely delivers lectures and talks to international forums and policy-making think tanks across the globe. Please put your hands together for Professor Dr. Siddiq Wahid. Sir, please.
Thank you. And Dr. Ashraf, congratulations. I've not seen the book, and I've certainly not read it. So it's impossible for me to speak about something that I've not read. I mean, one of the things that I've learned in life, and which has seen me through a good part of it, is don't talk when you don't know anything about something. You know, it's the best to keep quiet. But I feel honored to have been invited. We've not seen each other for a while, so I didn't even know that he had written a book. But congratulations again. You know, one thing that I've admired, and I can speak about the author a little bit because I've gotten to know him, is, well, maybe a long time ago, it seems like decades ago, I wrote an essay called The Tyranny of the Specialist, because we live in a specialized world, right? I mean, and I have a cousin who's a doctor, and he's an orthopedic surgeon. So my knee was giving me some problem. When I was younger, and I could run also rather than just walk. And so I met him one day, and I said, you know, my knee is hurting. Can you give it a look? And he said, I don't know anything about it. And I turned to him and I said, but aren't you an orthopedic surgeon? And he said, yes, but my speciality is just my wrist, from the wrist to the, sort of the tip of my fingers. And that's it. I sort of jokingly asked him, both hands or just one hand? And he said, no, both hands. I mean, he didn't get my joke also. This is, he's in the US, so, he knows what it's all about. So at any rate, and in the essay about, the tyranny of the specialists, I was thinking, is that it is a special condition of the modern world. You know, if you're going to be a professor of history, as I am, then you're supposed to only know history and nothing else. You know, if you are a doctor, then you only know about whatever the speciality is, cardiosurgery or whatever, and then you go on from there. And it bothered me, especially this interaction with my cousin, and which actually triggered my tyranny of the specialist, is that we subcontract everything. So even our minds, we subcontract to not speak. And so since then, I've been trying to improve my own education. And this was about 25 years ago. So, so what I've admired about Dr. Ashraf is the fact that he is a medical specialist and he can write a book about religions. I mean, that's called, some will call it very brave, others will call it, jumping into a huge melee, but I look forward to reading it and seeing what he has to say. I think that that is what allows us to understand our world, because if a specialist is sort of so narrow as to, only know their subject, then I think we live in a divided world. And can I, for example, bad example, but can you be a doctor or can you be a teacher in high school and yet speak speak confidently about the problems that are racking our world today, such as Gaza and what's happening there? Can we speak about it outside of our emotions, and understand it for what it is, and exactly how we can interpret it for ourselves? I think that that's of value. So I don't know, as I said, I've not read the book, but once I read the book, it's something, I look forward to reacting, because he has obviously reacted to something in which he's not a specialist. Or I often say that to people that I'm an amateur when it comes to political commentary, which I do off and on. And they always say, oh, you're being humble. I said, I'm not being humble. I'm just being very truthful. And being an amateur is not that bad, because it comes from the same word, the root for the same word as amor, or in Latin, which is the word for love. And when you do something because you love that particular topic, it has a special quality to it. And I'm sure that that's the case with your book. So I look forward to reading it. I'm sorry I can't say anything about the book, but I look forward to hearing the others, and I hope others are speaking. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Now, the next guest of honor, he's a well-known, internationally acclaimed teacher, scientist, and clinician. He has contributed extensively to science, and he's an expert of international repute. He has taught and trained hundreds of doctors and gastroenterologists. Over his 2-decade career as a professor and head of department gastroenterology. As director, he has expanded and recognized schemes to a great extent for the benefit of common people. Please welcome Professor Dr. Shaukat Zargar, former director, schemes, to present his views, if he has read the books or generally he can speak anything. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. First of all, I think I must today express my sincere congratulations and gratitude to Dr. Ashraf for publishing this book. Although I have not seen the face of it, except the title here. And as Dr. Wahid said, that we don't know what the book contains, but I became curious a few days before. Once he invited me, and I asked him, what is this book about? And he sent me, he was, I think, gracious enough, the preface of the book. And I don't know how many pages the book must be. I think it must be certainly more than 1,000 pages or like that.
No.
Huh?
400.
400 pages. I think it's really commendable to make a summary, an abstract of a history which goes from the bang, the creation of the earth, the whole universe,
Only 400.
up to the Battle of Baghdad.
5 chapters.
So this history is actually in billions of years. But if you look at the religion, I think it's also about 6,000 years back. So I think it must be a commendable job. I know Dr. Ashraf as a good doctor who is quite helpful to the patient, and he's well versed with his subject of surgical oncology. And excellent follow of the patients. They're very happy. This is what I know him as a very good doctor. But at the same time, he has got this quality. We have got 2 more doctors here. As Dr. Wahid said, I think basically the poets, and what I understand, the authors, other people, is inborn in them. There's a gene which is just in their mind, and they express it and they do it. It is not that everybody can become. If somebody wants to become an author, he doesn't have those qualities, he's not imbibed those things, he may not become. We have Professor Wahid Saab here, I know him. Dr.Mushtaq, he has been a literary figure, and there are many other doctors also. So they contribute not to the science, but to the literature as well. And this book, I don't know which religion he has put the whole, I don't know, it must have ended not only in Baghdad, probably in India, because Hinduism is the oldest religion of the world. I think what we have read about Brahma and other people, probably there must be a mention about that thing also. Nevertheless, whatever it is, I think probably it will be an easy read for all of us, because it contains just 400 pages to know the whole history. But he had also written in that preface what the world would have been if there would have been no religion. I think humans would have yet fought, because a human being is the worst animal on this earth. Is the worse than other animals. So if there was no religion, there would have been yet reasons to fight, to kill each other. This we see even today. Look at the Europe in 16th and 17th, 18th century. They were fighting with each other, although there was no religion. They were same religion, same life. Look, the people having the Islamic faith, they fight with each other. So a human being had to have a reason. The religion is there, but it will not end it, that we will not kill each other. I don't want to give a big sermon because they are respected literary figures here. I wish him all the best, and I wish great success to this book. And I hope we'll also get a copy of this book. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I wish I were a bird, carefree, knowing no boundaries nor countries. I wish I were happiness, I would illuminate the lamp of miserable hearts. I wish I were a sorrow, I would decay myself for the felicity of human race. Dear friends, as we have seen, the guest speakers are speaking about the book and about the author. Now, I would like to request Mr. Vijaydar, as you know, he needs no introduction, but the couplet which I have already quoted before you is suitable for him. नहीं लगा सकता है कोई इनके कद का अंदाजा, नहीं लगा सकता है कोई इनके कद का अंदाजा, ये आसमां है फिर भी सर को झुकाए हुए. Please sir. Please sir.
Good evening. I must say that I'm here because I'm very fond of Dr. Ashraf, and he personally asked me to come. But having come here, I feel humbled, absolutely, to see the galaxy of stars, the writers and authors that are sitting here. I had made a request that I can't be a guest of honor because I have very little to say that I'm being honored. But however, let me talk firstly about books. In my school days, I was a very ardent reader. So I, with a cousin of mine, started a library. And we used to rent out books and receive books. And we finally collected about maybe 600 books. After some time, one day my cousin rang me up and he said, "Come, I'll take you for a cup of tea." I said, "Okay." So I went and he took me to Adu's for a cup of tea. He ordered pineapple pastry, he ordered a patty, he ordered a kebab. I said, "What happened? Have you hit a lottery or something?" He said, "No, I sold all those books." I said, "Why?" He said, "You're a reader, I'm not." So I thought, why waste so much of time in keeping these books and then giving it out and getting it and whatever. That was my first experience as a reader, or also learning something about knowledge of books. Second instance is a person I met in the States. He narrated me his story. He said he had been to Nepal. He went for a hike, but he didn't do it. But there he went to a school. And in that school he asked the principal, he said, "Do you have a library?" He said, "Of course we have a library." He said, "Can I see your library?" So he took him to the library, opened an almara and opened a couple of locks, and he found 3 books there. One in German, one in English, and one language he didn't know. He said, is that all that you have? He said, yes. He said, why? He said, because nobody reads. So this gentleman went back and started a sort of a company, not a company I would say, but an association called Reading Room. And my dear friends, if you ever get a chance to read about it on Google, what a phenomenal idea it has been. Now he's got reading rooms all over, particularly in African countries where literature is not very common. Now, having come into the world of education, by default maybe, I have found the new youngsters who are fantastic. They're writers, they're poets from our school, and I just enjoy talking to these youngsters who are brilliant. I also go into various classes and start talking to the children, and I ask them questions and they give me funny replies. But one classroom I went into, and a child I asked, I think it was class 8. I said, what are you going to do? She said, I'm going to be a writer. And I must say, I felt very proud. I said, what is it you're going? I'm going to write a book. I said, have you thought of any title? He said, yes. I said, what? I said, Through the Eyes of Cat.
Oh, wow.
I think it was brilliant. I don't know whether she's going to go ahead with it or not, but I'm just giving you an example of how much need there is for reading, for writing, and for creating libraries. I, again, can take pride that the library in my school is almost 55,000 books today. And I'm also proud that we have taken the children back to reading and writing, which in today's world is very difficult because of the technologies. But however, I must appreciate, again, as Qazi Ashraf said, that he has not read the book. I'll read the book and I'll give my comments to Dr. Ashraf definitely. And I'm very grateful to him, and I'm very grateful to all of you. And please, again, I will say that I feel humbled, absolutely humbled standing here and then sitting with this galaxy on the stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Really inspiring speech by Mr. Vijay. Now, another guest who again needs no introduction. He has been the former head of Shah Hamdan Institute of Islamic Studies, University of Kashmir. He has been the former head of the Religious Studies Department of Central University of Kashmir. He has been the author of more than 200 books. That's why when we called him to be on stage, we welcome him with this note, which suits him indeed. And he is still giving lectures in many universities as well. So I request Professor Naseem Rafiabadi to be here with these couplet. न थके हैं पाँव कभी, न ही हिम्मत हारी है, मैंने देखे हैं कई दौर और आज भी सफर जारी है. Please sir.
Respected dignitaries on the days, Professor Sadiq Wahid Saab, Dar Saab, Professor Shaukat Saab, and the great scholars and doctors and experts and I should say teachers of the days. I have gone through the book, and if I get some time, I could just make some comments also on the contents of the book, but I just want to first give you some reflections which I could get after reading the book. The book is very controversial. And sometimes controversy is good, but not always. And in the environments we are living in, where we are not used to have difference of opinion and tolerate that, so that is sometimes not good to have a controversial book. But the doctor, Janab Ashraf Saab, I was amazed by his, I should say, wealth of knowledge. and the literature he has gone through, although he has not given references. And he has talked about, birth of religion, birth of universe. And he said this book is for the lay public. But I do think that lay public can understand this book. Being a student of comparative religions and have been teaching this religion for more than 35 years, even I had problem to understand many of the quotations he has given from different authors, from different and diverse backgrounds. He has spent about 12 years to work on this book, and he says it is not the piece of scholarship, but this is piece of scholarship, no controversy. So in the same way, he has talked about intellectual journey through the unbelievable chemistry of sacred history, and that is religion. But he has not talked only about religion, he has talked about science, he has talked about philosophy, and he has tried to talk about Semitic religions as well as Aryan religions, and then also about the authors like Pride, like Marx, and whatnot. There are so many references in the book, and he has given quotations although without reference. And he has said, I have not given any reference. Had he given reference, this book would have been a very great contribution. And without references, we can't count any book as a book of scholarship. So we should give reference that is needed so that people may relate that later on. And secondly, he has tried to talk about the conflicts. And it seems sometimes the book is about violence, about fear, and about hope as well. But more fear than hope, more violence than peace. So this is there. And sometimes I feel that our learned doctor, he has accepted whatever the people who have written on religion have said, without criticizing them. Because we have been teaching this, and we have two ways to see religion. One is from the believer side. If you are a believing person, your approach to religion will be different. But if you are a scientist, you want to study religion as a phenomenon, social phenomenon, your approach will be different. So, and there is a plethora of books on the subject, and many people have written on religion. Although they were not believing people, and most of them were agnostics, they were atheists. And even Marx has written on religion, which is the opium, and he has mentioned about opium of people. He has talked, and also David Hume, my favorite. I was working on Bertrand Russell and David Hume in jail. So about David Hume, he has talked also about that basically the religion is based on fear. And these are the theories which have been floated by the Western scholars after abandoning religion. And they have to explain, they have to they just give some explanation for existence of religion, or against religion, or in favor of religion. But they were not having any interest in belief of religion. They were studying religion as a phenomenon, as they study other phenomena of the world. But religion is something to have to deal with belief and faith, as has been said by Welcome Smith, one great scholar, Professor Srinagar, and I have met him also when I was in JNU. So what they have said about religion, although he was also not, believing in all the religions, he was a Christian. So in this way, this is one approach, to study religion from the point of view of the people who have worked on religion as a scientific phenomenon. As they study the universe, they study the religion. Although these are the two totally different words. Religion is, as has been said by Rodolphe Otto. He says religion is luminous, something which is to be experienced rather than expressed. So here I will not discuss that, but when I was going through this book, so he says that the book does not argue in favor of or against any religion. That's a good thing. So he is not trying to argue against or in favor of any religion, and he just wants to bring account of the events and circumstances that led to the appearances of religion. So how religion, and he says that religion was invented. This is also one of the theory, that religion has been invented by people. It was not there. Even Marx has talked about that. When there were communes, in communes people had no religion at all. A religion was later on developed with the birth of private property. And this is the superstructure of the basis, and basis are the circumstances, economic conditions of a society. So this has been said by many scholars of the West. And even the Orientalists, they have been working on the subject, and they have also floated such type of theories. And second point which has mentioned, so I just want to be critical, little bit critical, because unless criticism there is no, because we are used to elegy and just praise, and no, knowledge does not grow by that. And philosophy does not grow by, I should say appreciation only. We need to criticize. We need to discuss things in dispassionate manner so that we can correct our opinions, as has been said by Bertrand Russell and others. So, and in especially philosophy, because we have not to make books as religious scripture, which confused myself. And I was so much, sometimes feeling what to do and what not to do. Many things are there which need to be debated, and that needs a lot of debate. And in this short span of time, we will not be able to discuss the book in that manner, but it needs a discussion. And this book is worth of that, because the author has worked very hard. He has gone through many books from different diverse background of the scholars, and in this way, so when he talks about his first 3 chapters, he is talking about the physical phenomenon, about this universe, how man has come about, and how man was, how man came in the process of evolution, in a sense, and also how this world has come to existence. That is Big Bang. Although Big Bang, there are other theories also in the West, and it was in a brief history of time by Stephen Hawking. So he has tried to chronicle the history of the universe from Big Bang, although he says there is a definite beginning of the universe and there is a possible end. But in another book, Nature of Time and Space, he says there is no beginning and there is no end. So even as he has mentioned nothing and something and all these things. So in this way, about Big Bang, there are some controversies in the community of the scientists themselves. So whether it was from Big Bang or not, the universe has come to four, I don't know. And people have even doubted that. Maybe before that there was something, and even Stephen Hawking had to confess that there I wanted to read the mind of God, why he created the universe, when he was in the Vatican. He was invited there. And people like him. So in this way, from Big Bang to Baghdad. But this is very interesting topic, is very interesting. From Big Bang to Baghdad. And he has just gone to the history of the Jews, and then the Christianity, and Mesopotamia, and then India, and Buddhism, and then Hinduism, and almost all the religions of the world he has tried to just deal with. But he has his own one point which he has everywhere he is mentioning, that there has been violence, lot of bloodshed. And and secondly, he wants to say that religion is based on fear. He quotes Hume religion. But now these theories have also become now outdated. There are now new approaches to religion, which have been brought forward by other scholars who believe in religion, as Otto, I have mentioned about Otto, and then there are others. But he has tried to give us a glimpses of the viewpoint of those people who are non-believing believers in their own views, not in the religion. But they have also come out with an interpretation about many things of the world. So this is about the universe. And then the second is Big Bang onwards to the evolution and appearance of human beings. How the human beings have come to this universe, he has talked about that also. And then chapter 4, 5, he has talked about formation of religion. And then Mesopotamia and India, both he has. And he says that religion was invented. So this is an interesting thing, and it has been the viewpoint of Marx also. He says that religion has been created by the haves to love the have-nots. And religion is opium of masses, religion is the Messiah of the oppressed. It is the heart of heartless and soul of soulless. It is the opium of masses. This has been created by the haves in order to love the have-nots. And Ashraf Sahab has quoted many scholars, and he says that religion has been used for getting control of the people through religion. And even wars have been justified by the people who were at the helm of affairs, and they could get sanctioned because people were not ready otherwise to shed the blood. But when the second name was given, so they were ready to shed blood of their brothers and their neighbors. So this point he has also mentioned. And then he says that the concept of jihad It starts in Mesopotamia, and then it reached to in Judaism, then it was taken up by the Christians and by Muslims later on. And in this way, this was created at a particular time of this concept has come to fore at a particular time in the history. And in chapter 8 and 9, he talks about social, political circumstances that led to the birth of Christianity. So social, political, and economic condition. And this has been the great theme of our scholars of the West. They find the physical roots for religion, not spiritual. They want to show that religion is also one of the social construct or social phenomena. But so far as religious people are saying, they say no, religion is not social construct. It has been not created, it has not been invented by the people, it has been said by the God. And as a student of comparative religions, and especially student of Islamic studies, Islamic philosophy, I know that we have explanation for these things in a better way. It is not because of the political reasons, and this point has been also talked by the Montgomery Ward in his book, Muhammad and Makkah and Muhammad in Medina. He says that in Makkah, Muhammad was more religious, but in Medina he was more political. So as there has been no relationship between the revelations which were brought to Prophet by the Jibreel in Makkah and the revelations which were brought in Medina. And by the way, I was 3 days back, I was in Medina and Makkah. I was feeling that exuberance, the spiritual aspect of religion. It was not material, it was not physical, something more than that. And the verses of the Quran. As I mentioned when our learned scholar talks about Quran, he says that Quran has retained many of the views of Aristotle. And people like Heraclitus and others. Because they believe that water was the basis of everything. But and then he says that Quran believes the world is geometric and a geocentric earth. But I was feeling that these are the points which have been denounced by the Quran. So these may be some of the views which have been floated by the scholars of the West without understanding Quran. The problem with Islam is people don't read the Quran. They don't read the original source of the Quran. They don't go to the scripture. They just believe whatever others say about Quran. And especially the Orientalists. And I had some good, combating, debates with the Orientalists, like Bruce Lawrence and others in JU and other places. So whatever they say, they float many theories. And then our scholars sometimes quote them without going to the original text and seeing what is the actual position. There are scholars like Qazi Ashraf, whom our learned scholar has quoted many times. And she has very good books on the different religions of the world, on Buddha, on battlefields of the blood, fields of the blood. And she has talked also Muhammad, prophet of our times. And many books she has written. And she has also tried to give a new orientation to religious studies, where she goes directly to the Quran and Sunnah and the original books of the Islam, which are in Arabic. And without going to the original sources of Quran and Sunnah and other things, how we can just build a theory about Islam? If we want to theorize it, although religion is not theory, religion is something more than that, it is above these limitations. But still, if we want to build a theory, but we have to base that on the original sources. But depending on the secondary sources, and that too on the books of the Orientalists, and believing whatever they say as the gospel truth, that gets more problems. And I could feel that problem when I was reading the book, because I want to be honest. And we need, because we have also written books on the subject, we are the people from the subject. So we need little bit expertise also when we are going, because I will never talk anything about, as Professor Sadiq Sahab has rightly said, I can't talk about anything about medical science. I don't know anything about that. So at least expertise also need expertise in it. And it is not that we can write anything based on anything unless we have the sources and original, I should say, evidences from the actual scriptures. When we are talking about Quran and Hadith and other things. And as a student of religions, we need to go to the original text. And then from there, when we can reach someone, then we can quote secondary sources also. But basing something important, for example, when he talks about the history of Islam, he says that I'm not quoting, although I have written those all things, but I put the time. So, for example, he says that Medina was soaked with blood. And I tell him that, Prophet's revolution was the most blood-dressed revolution. Only 1,000 people were killed in all the wars during that period. And there's the Treaty of Makkah, Treaty of Hudaybiyah and the Misak Medina. And Prophet ﷺ has tried his level best that he should avoid all type of concentration. And it was because of that he made migration to Makkah, Medina, from Makkah, because there was every likelihood of bloodshed and other things. But I will just say that to think that religion is based on violence, this is controversial. Religion is not based on, but religion wants to eradicate I have gone through Hinduism, there's a concept of honor, concept of peace. I have gone through Sikhism, I have gone through Buddhism, I have gone through other religions, Christianity, love, lot of things are there. So there are, but history is not everything. We can't make history as there, evidence for showing that religion has been, hands of the religious people were full of blood. It was Graham Fuller, who in his book, World Without Islam, says that most of the wars have been waged by the non-religious people. And the blood which has been shed by the people who were non-believers, that is more than that which has been done by the religious people. And in this way, we have to just qualify. That's very important. And last, I will just say that, mashallah, he has written a book, and it needs a debate, and we should consult the experts also. When we are writing on a sensitive subject like religion, it's very sensitive. I found many such places which can become very controversial, and about prophet and about second personalities of different religions. We have to be very much revered. We have to have reverence towards those people, because they have brought great revolution in the world. We are because of them. And whatever honor we have, whatever good thing in this world is, that is because of those prophets, those great leaders who have given us, code of conduct, who have given us identity. And you may not believe religion, no problem, but we have to respect them. But sometimes I have found that even the language was not respectful. And about Umar, about Asha, and other such great personalities of the, and even sometimes about Buddha, about Jesus Christ, because they are all sacred people. They have just brought great revolution to the world, and whatever good in this world is, it is because of them. And if we just minus religion, as has been said rightly by Professor Zargasa, have there been no religion, there would be civil violence. So we should not sparely blame religion for all violence, but we should see what religion has brought the world. Had there been no religion, I can go through the book of Graham Fuller, World Without Islam. He said, had there been no Islam, there would be nothing. And although he was a very great, I should say, one of the officials of the CIA, and he has worked on Islam, political Islam, he has also a book on political Islam. So he says, world without Islam, had there been no Islam, there would be nothing. So in this way, we have to be a little bit, balanced. But taking all these things, because I thought that people are just praising, and that's good. But as a student of philosophy and religion, we believe that everything comes after, criticism, after, difference of opinion, and something new can come to fore. And now, if we can have some time, we can, I and Ashraf Sahab, we can meet together, we can see, and we can have good discussions, debates. And those can be dispassionate debates on each and every subject he is talking about. And these are debatable subjects. And after debating, we can come out with some better solution to these problems. Otherwise, it seems, and one important, I will end with that, he has just talked about promised land. He says promised land is, basically, it was Mesopotamia, but it's Kashmir. And I was happy that our land also sometimes figures. And I remember that once I was in my department, two people were rushing to my department. They were saying that, who is Haji Naseem? I said, I have. They said, we want to ask you two questions. I said, first let us first have tea, then we can discuss. They said, we have come to know that there is the grave of Jesus in Kashmir. I said, please first have tea, then we can discuss whether there is not. I said, had there been the grave of Jesus, we would have been very rich people. The whole world would have come here to visit Kashmir, to see the grave of Jesus. And there was another person who had also come once, and he was also talking about that. Then I told him there, he was not even crucified. He did not die. Why are you saying his grave is there? We have told you. He named two persons whom also Dr. Ashraf has quoted in his book. And sometimes people float such unfounded stories, and that creates problem for us. No scholar of the world has, and about the Garden of Eden. He says Garden of Eden is Kashmir. And Garden of Eden is paradise. And according to Christianity, that when man was in the Garden of Eden, they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And this made us to fall. Our fall is because of that reason. From the prohibited tree of knowledge and good and evil. And that promised land is not at least Kashmir. The whole world will just come here. And Garden of Eden is also not Kashmir. So there are, and he says there are 4 rivers in Kashmir, and these are not there in the fertile crescent. And this is also people have said it, but we have to take this with pinch of salt. There are such type of, I should say, claims which have no historical evidence. And we have to be very much careful about such sensitive issues, because this religion is a very sensitive subject. And if we want to work on religion, we should also consult the experts. Otherwise, that can create more controversies than it can solve. But given all these things, I appreciate Dr. Ashraf Sahab, Qazi Ashraf Sahab, for his great work. And his language is such flowery language, mashallah. This is a very good language, and very, linguistically he is so sound, and his flawless English he has. And his work is also very important. But if he will give some more time to this book and try to revise it and have some consultation with the people who are experts of the subject from different religions, not only Islam, from Christianity, from Buddhism, from Hinduism, from Judaism, from Zoroastrianism, and historians also as well. That's what I'm just completing. And from historians also who have written about Kashmir, especially this claim that this is Garden of Eden and this is promised land. And even the grave of Moses is in Kashmir, near somewhere Bandipur. So in this way, this will be a great work done, inshallah, because he has all the acumen, he has the power, and we should appreciate a person being from a different field, still writing on such a field where animals dead, they drift. And we sometimes are afraid to write on the subject on which he has written. With all these words, if I have said something which was not, which was off the record or which you do not like, I am sorry for that. But to be candid and to be true to my own conviction, I wanted to just bring some of the aspects, although I have written something more also. Maybe I may write an article on the subject, or I have correspondence with. Allowed me to speak something which was not, in consonance with the mood of the audience. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू सो मच सर। हर एक इंसान का अपना ओपिनियन होता है जब वो कोई भी चीज़ पढ़ता है, कोई न्यूज़ पढ़ता है, कोई किताब पढ़ता है। हर इंसान उसको अपने तरीके से परसीव करता है, वो डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियंस होते हैं। तो थैंक यू सो मच आपके ओपिनियन के लिए सर। और मैं चाहूँगी सब लोग ये किताब पढ़ें, अपना एक ओपिनियन क्रिएट करें, देखें कैसी किताब है। ऑन अ लाइटर नोट मैं कहना चाहूँगी कि देयर आर पीपल हु मेक बिग डिफरेंस to little people. The next guest of honor is a reputed pediatric surgeon and presently heading the Department of Surgery at Medical College, Baramulla. Please put your hands together for Dr. Altaf Shera.
Professor Waheed Saab, Mr. Vijayda, Dr. Shaukat Saab, Dr. Rafia Abadi, Dr.NazirMushtaq Saab, Dr. Ashraf, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it is a great pleasure for me to be invited in an audience like this and being asked to speak a few words. As far as the book is concerned, I'm yet to read it, so I would not be able to give a first-hand information about my opinion on the book, but I can say a lot about the author. People know Dr. Ashraf as an author now when he has written books. I have seen Dr. Ashraf when he joined Sher Kashmir Institute of Medical Sciences as a postgraduate student in surgery. And by draw of lots, I was supposed to be his guide and he was the scholar. Naturally, guide and student relation is a close one. Especially within the first few days, I asked him to write a synopsis on a scientific subject. Normally, most of the students write it, rewrite it, repeat it in so many corrections. It takes 5-10 corrections to make one synopsis, and then subsequently we go to thesis. He's one of the students whom I never knew before. That day, when I gave him the topic, he wrote a synopsis. It was so lucid in the first attempt, so beautiful English, so nicely, and in the shortest possible time. Then I asked him his background and how is he, if anybody helped him. And then he informed me that it was purely his own work, his own way. It was so nice. And then we continued with our research project, we continued the thesis, and that paper is already published in one of the prestigious international journals. It was mostly on nuclear medicine. So since then, I have seen a glimpse of author in him. That time, perhaps he had not written any book, but I could see the writing capabilities in him. Then one day I did ask him, is he happy here? Is he as a doctor and busy and all this? He has a talent which is far beyond that. And then while studying, I found apart from being a good writer and he has clear idea about things, I found him a dedicated doctor, a very hardworking, and which all of you know that he is one of the best oncosurgeons we have in Kashmir today. There's no doubt about his talent as a surgeon. And when after doing MS, I told him, what are you going to next? Are you joining our faculty or somewhere here? He said, I want to do something unusual. That's the time when we did not have the Department of Oncosurgery at the Kashmir Institute of Medical Sciences. And he went to Calcutta to get his end. He wanted to do something unusual, something extraordinary, and he did achieve it. Now, these capabilities as author are coming up slowly, and over the years, he has groomed himself into one of the fine authors we have in Kashmir. My heartiest congratulations to Dr. Ashraf for this accomplishment. I personally believe that there is an author in all of us, small or big, but the only thing is some of us do put it in words, we express ourselves, others do not express. In the present age of knowledge confusion, I don't know whether it's an appropriate word to use, most of our youngsters, I observed, they are losing interest in reading books. Our reading rooms today are dying down. Our young generation usually takes knowledge from Dr. Google regarding science, regarding religion, regarding philosophy, regarding literature, which is unconfirmed, half-baked knowledge, and unauthenticated. Perhaps all of us should contribute our bit in encouraging our youngsters to read the books. The way nutrition keeps our body going, our mind has to be kept going by reading certain amount of books, good books. We must start from our home, start with our children, our students, our juniors. We must, book reading is dying down, it should be resumed, and all of us must contribute whatever little we can in generating habit of our children and youngsters in reading the books. I once again congratulate Dr. Ashraf and thank all of you for coming here and increase this occasion and encourage Dr. Ashraf.
Thank you so much, sir, for these beautiful words. ऐ मुसव्विर मैं तुम्हें उस्ताद मानूं, ऐ मुसव्विर मैं तुम्हें उस्ताद मानूं, दर्द भी खींच तस्वीर के साथ. Now onwards, dear friends, the time has come for which we all are here, for the book release. For that, we will request
We request Dr. Qazi Ashraf to kindly join us on stage. Please give a huge round of applause. जोरदार तालियां होनी चाहिए, इसमें जान नहीं है.
Now, formally, there will be the book release now. I'll request. Yes, please. Now there will be formally book release now. Now we'll request all the guests of honors, sir, please take these books and release.
Allah. Thank you so much, all the chief guests, guest of honors, author.
We would request the guest of honors to kindly take their seats in the front row so that we are actually having a panel discussion. Or okay. First we'll have the review or the book. So
You have heard so much about this book. There are still much more to come. Now the person whom I would like to request here to present a book review for you is Valley's renowned columnist. I'll quote few lines from his book, Wings of Love. Bluffing is a tough exercise. Bluffing is a tough exercise, but no seed has ever germinated on the cemented turf. One has to break his soil to allow the tiny seed to grow. Breaking is making. He has been the author of so many books, including Wings of Love, Misting Voices of Kashmir, Withered Petals, Verses of Wahab Khar, and other papers as well. He is the Valley's renowned author and columnist, Mr. Mushtaq Bar. Please give him a big round of applause, sir.
dignitaries on and off the dais, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think the best review has already been done by Professor Saab. This is only my observations. A review has already been done. Before I read the review, I would suggest the author he should have read one book that would have answered almost 50 questions, that is Mystical Dimensions of Islam by Annie Maurice Chanel. Keeping that in view, here is what, as a student of literature, I have to say. The book, entitled From Big Bang to Baghdad, showcases an intricate relationship between the theological concepts of religion and the scientific and historical perspective of its evolution, particularly in the context of origin. The book has marked an emphasis on rational thought and reason to witness a diverse scholarly perspectives with some leaning towards tradition, naql, and other prioritizing reason, aql. Notably, scholars like Nursi and Dr. Iqbal, both aql and naql in their prophetologies, placing a significant emphasis on reason. The book is a study of historical, social evolution of religion wrapped in the robe of faith, which is yet to get discovered. The central argument posted in the book is a conventional faith. A conventional faith believer lacks a balanced integration of metaphysics and rational element. In the contrast, Nuri and Iqbal successfully maintained this equilibrium by incorporating metaphysical aspects. The book by Dr. Ashraf is a kind of thesis proclaiming the man's imaginative and logical aspect has together been employed to justify many such conventions which earlier were restricted to gods. The thesis undertakes a textual analysis of major works, highlighting the distinct responses these many thinkers offer to theological challenges of their time and drawing comparison with their modest commentaries. Furthermore, the author contends that science inquiry complements matter of faith, offering valuable insights into religion, scientific methodologies rooted in empirical evidences and rational inquiries, provide a systematic framework for evaluating historical and cultural influences on religion interpretations. The integration of science knowledge is seen as essential for a comprehensive undertaking of religion, fostering inclusive and open-minded dialogue. The Big Bang theory serves as a scientific framework unraveling the origin and evolution of the universe, firmly rooted in the realms of cosmology. Importantly, it remains silent on the genesis of the progression of the religious belief. Science, with its unwavering comments to empirical observations and evidences, grapples with the unraveling intricacies of natural world, while religion often plunges into inquiries regarding meaning, purpose, and the transcendental. Chapter 1. The collection that birthed the religion. The collusion that birthed the religion. Religious belief form an intricate narrative shaped by culture, social, psychological, and historical influences. Rooted in humanity's pursuit of meaning amidst existential questions, religious thought transcends scientific methodologies like Big Bang, which, while enhancing our grasp of natural order, then falls short in addressing profound inquiries about life, purpose, morality, and deities. The chapter delves into the sacred history of humanity, exploring mysteries of life. The arrival of the first human marks a pivotal moment, prompting fundamental questions about existence and consciousness. The interplay of science and spirituality gains profound significance in explanations. Sacred history upholds through storytelling, myths, cultural narratives, shaping collective consciousness and offering frameworks for understanding life as mystery. This chapter unravels the significance of these stories as source of wisdom, oral guidance, and metaphysical insights. Culture becomes a crucible for religious evolution, from rituals to symbolism, serving as a canvas for human quest for the divinity. The dynamic interplay between the culture and the religion is explored, illustrated their mutual influence over time. Yet this understanding can lead to conflicts. It is crucial to approach discussions on science and religion with awareness of their distinct roles. Each provides unique lenses through which humanity explores the complex ceremonies of existence. As we journey through the explorations, in no sense, understanding of our collective narrative is invented, seeking meaning in the collision that birthed religion. Chapter 2 of the book discusses oral and written history, highlighting the distinction between them. Aslan urges that sacred history turns time and space, suggesting a timeless qualities in religion narrative. The chapter emphasizes no God but God, asserting that religion for Aslan is a fundamental story of faith. It explores religion as both as impulse and as a narrative expression, and the mention of caves hints at the broader explorations of religious history across diverse contexts. Chapter 4, from cattle rustling to cow reverting. This chapter paints a vivid picture of how ancient societies harnessed the power of imagination to elevate necessity into ritual practices. With a growing population, the act of animal slaughter transformed from a mere meaning of securing sustenance to a ceremonious rites. As time marched towards the offering of sacrifice to numerous deities became a prevalent custom, with the belief that the grandeur of the sacrifice, the more substantial the rewards in the afterlife. In the earlier epoch, the notion of afterlife was but a faint flicker in their collective imagination. However, propelled by an evolving human desire for a more futuristic overview, the act of sacrificing animals became a communal endeavor. The ritualist slaughter of animals, once a pragmatic solution to a basic need, evolved into a profound group activity. This transformation was not only merely about nutritional requirement, but also justified their commitment to the gods they revered. The escalating demand for a more comprehensive understanding of afterlife propelled these communities to embrace sacrifice of animals as a tangible manifestation of their spiritual devotion. The last section of the book, which actually touches our conventional faith and there's a chapter called He's Looking for Some Questions. So if that chapter is not read carefully, under the light of the experts, there are options that we land into the blasphemy. So I request all the readers to read this book with reference to the Quran and with reference to the other books as well. Otherwise, there is a danger of, as our Honorable Sir has already hinted at, that will be proved in against the author. But anyway, he has tried his best to put so many books into consideration without considering one book that would have been very useful for him. I hope that in future authors like that, when they are dealing with such sensitive issues, they will take care of the common human emotion regarding faith. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So the next reviewer who will come on stage was the former HOD Department of English, Kashmir University, and is an author of many books and a guest speaker in many universities. Please put your hands together for Professor Aslam.
It seems I have nobody to say respect to the podium because all the people have left here. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be mostly talking in English because the book is in English. However, I'll be code switching in between to make certain things very clear. As we know, the book is titled From Big Bang to Baghdad. The title is very musical because alliteration of the sound "b" makes it musical to a student of literature. But if you go through the text, unfortunately I'm feeling very cold here, so you must be feeling very cold. Therefore, it would not be appropriate to go into details of the many of the things that we would like to talk about. But I can't help talking about both the structure of the book and the contents of the book. As you know, the book actually has 4 parts, and each part is divided into several chapters and then sub-chapters. What is important is that if you are looking at a book of such kind, normally, as Rafi Amali Saab has pointed out, we would like to have the academic paraphernalia, which is the references to the authors, to the that's not there. And interestingly, out of some 283 books, there are only 23 books or references to Muslims. The rest are all the European writers. Now, as Mushtaq has already given you an idea of what the first chapter is about, what the second chapter is about, actually the book is about the creation of the world. Not the creation, the evolution of the world. The major theme is evolution. And once you keep this word in mind, then every bit in the universe would appear to you as evolved out of nothing or out of something. And interestingly, this book has ample food for thought for those who believe in human language. Because one of the distinctive properties of human language is it is displacement. We call it, technical term is displacement. Displacement means that you are the only species in the world that are capable of talking about the past infinity. You don't have to mention this. So when you look at the history of universe some 14 billion years back, and you feel that this universe has actually evolved out of nothing. What was that nothing? And then our history as human beings is not that old. And the first man that we scientists believe, not that we all believe, but scientists believe, that he appeared from Africa. A 4-legged animal became bipedal because of evolution, and he learned to talk, he learned to behave as a human being because of features which you don't find in many other species. He was either an ape or he was a chimp. And then this human being, he actually started moving away from his place, what we call migration, came to out of Africa,